I cut the countdown off early, but it's all right. What's up, guys? Welcome into Nerd Sports Zone with John and Mike. This week we have our recurring guest, and also in our Dynasty Junior League, Barrett Hulse from Barrett from Redzone Fantasy Football. He's representing Barrett Redzone Fantasy Football. He's one of the creators of it. So crazy week one that we have here. We're gonna be talking about week one. We're gonna be talking about some specific players that we noticed stand out or not stand out. Now that we're in our fantasy teams here, we're gonna go over our rosters, who we got, and then we're gonna go over some of the moves that we made after week one. And we're gonna talk about bold predictions, and we're also gonna be talking about week two previews and the moves that we made. So, with that being said, let's bring in the boys here, John and Barrett.
Howdy.
Duty. Duty. All right, boys. We got a lot to get. We got a lot to cover. I'd love to sit and catch up, but we got a lot to catch up on from week one to rosters. So, with that being said, I am gonna switch me over to the rosters really quick for a little bit. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So let's pull up the old Google Chrome. Oh my God. Okay. So I'll get these ones out of the way really quick. I felt like my drafts went pretty good. I finished in the top projection standings overall everywhere. But again, those are just projections. So going into the Bootstrap Belichick's in the Deadlight League, I have Aaron Rodgers, Christian McCaffrey, Tyson Williams through roster movements, Mike Evans, Justin Jefferson, Darren Waller, Devontae Smith, the roster movements, the Washington football team defense, kicker Matt Gay, and then on a bench I have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Robert Tanya, Myles Gaskin, T. Higgins, the Browns defense, David Johnson, and Jameis Winston through roster movements. Moving through that, we'll go to the second fantasy roster I have. We have in the Losers League, Barrett and John are both in this league, actually. So, again, I got stuck with Aaron Rodgers in this league. Dalvin Cook, Antonio Gibson, DeAndre Hopkins, Mike Evans, DJ Chark Jr., Dallas Goedert, Damian Harris. I'm flexing him this week. Giants defense, Jason Sanders at kicker. I did pick up Joey Sly because he had a better week last week. I'm planning to get rid of one of those two. And at my bench, I have Mark Andrews, Brandon Ayuk, Matthew Stafford, Cole Beasley, Tyson Williams through waivers, and Zach Pascal. If I go to the league here, we can take a look at John's team.
You want to do that?
I'll do it right now.
Let's check it.
Because John took care of business against me last week, guys. And we'll talk about the matchup coming up here. John has Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler, Saquon Barkley, CeeDee Lamb, Cooper Kupp, Cortland Sutton, Kyle Pitts, Melvin Gordon III, Patriots defense, kicker Tyler Bass. His bench consists of Mike Davis, Ronald Jones II, Michael Thomas, Jalen Waddle, Mecole Hardman, Elijah Moore, Tyrell Williams, and Justin Jackson. I think your roster will betray you someday, John. You got a lot of LA on there.
It's really good, though. I like it, though.
It's a good team.
I didn't think it was too much LA.
Aaron Rodgers really screwed me over last week, and we'll talk about that as we get further in.
He got me too. I have him in another league. We all felt the Aaron Rodgers pain that week.
Yeah,
we all saw how it was.
Where are you at in here, Barrett?
Who did he take on?
I'm not sure. I took on... Well, I can't remember who I took on, to be honest. My name is Aaron Frodgers.
Oh, you changed it? Okay.
Changed it right after the Aaron Rodgers game, so I thought it was fitting.
Yeah, I feel that. I 100% feel that. This week we got A-Rod sucks. Barrett's team consisted of Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, Darrell Henderson Jr., A.J. Brown, Allen Robinson II, Deontay Johnson, Travis Kelce, Laviska Shenault Jr., Broncos defense, Matt Prater, and his bench consisted of DeAndre Swift, Devontae Smith, Corey Davis, Trey Sermon, Jacoby Myers, Joe Burrow, Paris Campbell, and the Minnesota Vikings defense. Which,
Yeah,
the
Swift
Vikings
kinda-
defense is alright last week.
I like me not starting Swift kind of sucked that, and then I started at Ezekiel Elliott, and that kind of blew it off the water.
Yep.
So.
Yep, well, I agree. moving
This thing's
into moving into our other league, I got boys and girls. I went 1-5 in my first week one. It was rough. Aaron Rodgers killed most of my weeks, to be completely honest. I think if Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones, the Packers would have showed up, I actually might have had a high chance at being 6-0.
I forgot they were playing.
Just a bad game, just a bad situation. So I'm not stressed out about it. This league, I'm a little upset about. We're gonna talk about this. I had Josh Allen. This is the big boys league. Josh Allen, Josh Jacobs, Elijah Mitchell through waivers, F1 McLaurin, Cooper Kupp. I picked up Rob Gronkowski through waivers. Ezekiel Elliott, I'm putting in a flex spot. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave him there yet. I got the Bills defense, Tyler Bass. George Kittle, Damian Harris on my bench. George Kittle's on my bench. Ryan Tannehill, Ravens defense, Sterling Shepard, Mark Ingram, and Nelson Aguilar, all through waivers and last-minute roster movements for depth. I offered a trade in this league that was very fair, and I was denied the trade. So
Denied.
I'm more on the other guy's side just because of the caliber of player that you're trading for. But I mean, I agree it was a fair trade.
yeah, it was more than fair. I mean, you're getting 3 starters for 1, so. And then in the last league, this was a shootout in our original stream league. I faced off against Sheev the Wise with the Mustafar Burners. We had a bit of a shootout. He scored 289. I scored 245. I'm not really sure where things went wrong here. I've been looking at this matchup the most out of everything. And
I can't say that.
I'm not sure where things went wrong. It just was a shootout. It's all it was. I had Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Jones, which probably was the start of where I struggled.
Aaron Jones right there.
James Robinson did well. Stephon Diggs, DJ Moore, Rob Gronkowski, Damian Harris, and flex for this week. He wasn't flex last week. Eric Kendricks, Fred Warner, Chase Young, Justin Hollins, Jalen Ramsey was picked up along with Eric Rowe. And then Justin Tucker at kicker. And then on my bench on this league, I have Kyle Pitts, Logan Thomas, Ryan Tannehill, John Johnson III, Alex Singleton, Elijah Moore, and a defensive tackle in Cameron Hayward. So I made quite a few roster moves here. And then I'm not even going to talk about the Yahoo League very much, but I can show you the standings of where we're at. I know I'm covering it up right now. I am currently sitting in second with 240 points scored. Christian's wife went off on everybody. She had 317 points scored last week. Very close matchups in this league, in the Yahoo League. We got everybody going. We got the waiver wire fixed. We got everybody going. We got everyone their needs. So with that being said, let's dive into some of the bigger topics. We looked at some of the rosters, and then let's just see what comes of it. So we're 1 weekend, guys.
1 weekend.
What stood out to you about your roster? What stood out to you about the teams that played last week? And what did you enjoy, I guess, watching in week 1, and what did you least expect? So let's start with John. What do you got for me?
What I enjoy? Football's back, baby. Football's back. Man,
That's so good.
Such good slates of games this week 1 really gave us. We got 2 overtimes in week 1.
You know what? Let's just pause there. Actually, football's back, baby.
Football's back.
We'll let this play out.
And it ended with
Right.
Crazy game to start.
Great games. I can't just pick one. Thursday night showed up. What a kickoff to that. You got the Tom Brady versus Dak Prescott. As the Cowboys fan, you can't be mad at that. You just got Tom Brady. Bottom line. You gotta respect.
That's what I told one of our friends as a Cowboys fan.
Dak Prescott probably had his best game.
We were watching that game, and it was so funny because one of our friends is a Cowboys fan. Well, 2 of them in the Big Boys League. They're both Cowboys fans, and at halftime he put in his story that he said the Cowboys were gonna win, and then I was like, man, you can't do that. Like Tom Brady, you just cannot do that. Like you never know when this game's gonna be done. And when Greg the Leg Zerloin was kicking the way he was, I said they're not gonna win this game. So then I told one of our friends that's younger, he's like 16 or 17. or no, I think he's a little older actually. I think he's like just starting college. I told him, I said, I've been watching Tom Brady about 8 9 years longer than you here, bud. Like, do you want your team to lose to a last minute field goal, or due to a Tom Brady last minute drive, or do you want your team to lose on a missed kick? And they made the kick, and then the next minute and a half ensued, and it was, I mean, classic Tom Brady. So, good way to start the week one games on Thursday Night Football with the Bucks and the Cowboys.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then, but favorite game? Let's see. That wasn't my team. Favorite game that wasn't my team. I don't know, that overtime on Monday night was pretty special. I thought, just as a spectator, can't stand the Raiders, can't stand the Ravens, so I didn't really care who won, but that performance, just the fumbles, the mishaps, the interceptions, has made it such a good game. In my opinion, I thought it was great.
Yeah, Barrett, what do you think of that? What did you like out of the weekend the most?
Actually, one of my favorite games to watch was the Titans versus the Cardinals game.
Oh,
That's a good
That
pick.
was watching the defensive performance by the Cardinals was amazing, and watch DeAndre Hopkins be a monster and catching things in the back of the end zone with like nobody believed that he caught some of those passes. So I'm very very happy with being like rooting for the Cardinals this year. So I thought that was my favorite game, and then the Monday night game burner was awesome. Like it literally was down to the wire. Overtimes happened, controversy happened. Like it was perfect. So that was a great way to end off the first week. I think that would those be the two that I would choose.
Yeah, for me, I think the two games I liked the most I'd say it's got to be was the Cowboys and Bucks game, because you got to watch, like, every time. I used to hate Tom Brady, but now every time you get to watch that guy go play, it's like it's watching greatness. I mean, you're seeing another last minute drive. Like, he never was worked up. He was never like out of his comfort zone, and Tom Brady just went down and does what he always does, and he won. I think my second favorite game was not actually the Monday night game, because that is the game that screwed my fantasy weeks over. So that Darren Waller touchdown extended it, and then I had a 10-point lead, and then overtime happened, and it did not help at all. But my second favorite game to watch was, unfortunately, the Vikings and the Bengals game. I was very frustrated with that game because I noticed it all weekend, and not just in the Vikings and Bengals game. The reffing was awful. The officiating was terrible all weekend long. And what I loved about this, and this will segue into some Aaron Rodgers discussion, is Aaron Rodgers talked about this on the Pat McAfee show last Tuesday before the first week. And he said that there's a retired referee that he likes, that thinks should put on a refereeing school for the NFL, because he doesn't like what is being done in the NFL. He doesn't like the rule changes. He backed Tom Brady up on the number changes, how he's not a fan of it, because now, you're not seeing the double-digit numbers, the cornerback numbers, the safety numbers. You're seeing single-digit numbers, so it's a lot harder to read where you're going to throw the ball. So I don't think that's an excuse. I think that's a real thing that quarterbacks are going to struggle with here. But I thought it was interesting to watch the Vikings and the Bengals game, because the officiating was so bad. I mean, calling back the Justin Jefferson touchdown, absolutely ridiculous. Like, that fumble, totally not a fumble. Like, he was clearly down. And, I mean, if that's the point, why do we even have all these cameras if we're going to still allow New York to call these plays wrong? So what's the point of it? I hope that they get things right. And they need to fix some things in the terms of officiating, because it was bad everywhere, not just the Vikings game. It was bad everywhere. So that's my thought on it. Segueing into Aaron Rodgers, let's talk about this. Everybody in fantasy was like, I cannot wait until we get to see Aaron Rodgers go tear up this other team. And they got plastered.
I don't want to talk about it.
Like,
Aaron Rodgers disappointed me.
Aaron Rodgers hurt my fantasy weeks bad. Like I would have won probably at least 3 leagues, three or four more leagues if he would have just played well.
He should
If
have showed up.
if the Packers would have played well. I mean, if we would have gotten the Aaron Jones that we expect, like what's going on here? Is this? And we'll be quick on this. I think that we don't want to panic. I'm actually starting Rodgers in one of the leagues, or possibly two of them again. What's going on?
What you want to do? Like this next week against Detroit, definitely starting them up.
Yeah.
It's a redemption
Yep,
week.
I'm firing him back up. He went back on Pat McAfee. He said it was one bad game. He's going to play well against the Lions. I really believe he will. It's a division game. It's big. I don't think Aaron Rodgers lays an egg like that twice. But, like, what's going on? Do you guys think that Aaron Rodgers taking as much time off as he did and not showing up to some of the mandatory camps, do you think that factored into some of these games or no? Or do you think it was just a bad game?
Absolutely.
I think he just gave up. Like you could tell that he was getting frustrated, and a lot of his interceptions were pretty much on him. They weren't on anybody else. They were all on him. So I mean, he was having a rough game. He's like, "I'll screw it," It doesn't matter.
Did you hear McAfee? He goes, I could be wrong, but I think I heard you say F it when he threw that interception.
I think I heard you say "fuck it" when you went to throw that interception.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
He said, and Aaron said he didn't. And I think what Aaron said on that show was very valuable. Like he said, you know what? It was just one of those games. He said, we had one last year. We, he said that, I got a bunch of text messages about how the Buccaneers had happened to them against the Saints, and they came back and they won the Super Bowl. He's like, I don't know what stat line that is. He's like, I don't really care about it, but he said, I mean, you have these weeks, and so I mean, it gives an interesting plot line for Aaron Rodgers to have a better game this week against the division rival and get back on track, and it'll be good. So conspiracies are more fun. I don't think Aaron Rodgers threw the game. I don't think Aaron Rodgers.
You know what, though? Shout out to the New Orleans Saints.
Yes.
Give them props. Give them credit when credit is due. They balled out on Sunday.
Honestly,
they 5 touchdowns on 17 attempts. Good for you, sir. 5 touchdowns on 17 attempts.
You know what? I've said. I'll give another one. I'll give him more.
That was a game.
I'll give more clap. Let's go! Good job, Jameis. You made me apologize. I was calling you a bunch of bad names about you having LASIX, and I feel bad about every single one. LASIX worked wonders. You balled out. You went back to being the former first overall pick that we know that you are. Good job, Jameis Winston. And I went and got you on waivers. I believe in you this year.
Let's go!
So,
5 touchdowns.
Attaboy. Yeah, I just think it was a bad game. I think it was a bad game for the Packers. I think that they had to get a little bit of rust off. I think that they're going to be going in the right direction. So enough about the Packers not doing that well. One more topic I want to talk about. What the hell? Matthew Stafford, guys.
Looking good.
What was his QBR rating? Like 156?
Great.
He didn't pass the ball more than 30 times a game, like that game. So it's going to be low, especially when you have Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods as the receivers.
Crazy performance, though, by Matthew Stafford. He balled out. Now we know. I think now we know that this was like, okay, well, maybe this is not an issue for Matt Stafford. Maybe this is a Lions issue. You know what I mean?
It's always going to be a Lions issue, no matter what happens. It's going to be a Lions issue.
Yeah, and he seemed happy, you guys. He didn't seem like he was bummed out to be there by the third quarter. He seemed happy when he was playing. It was really fun to watch. I had a really good time watching parts of that game. Stafford looked like he was enjoying himself and having fun, and he was. It looked fun. What did you guys make of that game? What were your thoughts on that Matt Stafford?
Well, Matt Stafford looked amazing there. He has all these weapons to throw to. You're right. He looks happy. He looks ready to go. Sean McVay is making great plays for him.
Yeah,
designing great plays for him. So I have high hopes for Matt Stafford. On the opposite side, though, the Bears look like a train wreck, absolute train wreck.
Yeah.
Their defense, their offensive line is horrible.
Bears look bad.
It was a revolving door for everybody around there, and Justin Fields is going to be coming out here a lot quicker than I anticipated.
Yep, I was listening to Barrett's podcast, Redzone Fantasy Football, the other night. I helped him get the audio up and ripped up for it. It was a great podcast. You guys should check it out, by the way. It was like, it's crazy. It's so crazy to to go back and look at the predictions that even like not just what you guys had, but myself had. I was like, well, we probably won't see Fields until later in the season. Nope, dead wrong. We'll see him by week 3 or 4. Like,
you know what? Same for Trey Lance, though. He got his piece.
Yeah,
he scored more points. He scored more points than Aaron Rodgers did.
The rookies are coming to play, ladies and gents.
The rookies are coming out to play, and they're playing well. I really like how everyone's responding to like when their name gets called. Like Trey Lance is not being the guy that's like, I want to be out there now. Justin Fields isn't doing that either. Like they're sitting there, they're being patient.
When their time's called.
And when they get called to go out the field, they go. They go when they're asked. So I really appreciate watching these young guys not kind of have a big head and just go and do their job. You know what I mean? And Trey Lance was asked some very difficult questions in this press conference. Watching him handle himself in a professional press conference was a North Dakota State University proud moment. I really enjoyed listening to him talk and hearing what he had to say to the reporters because he was humble, he was calm, like he didn't say anything dumb. Like these rookies are coming out and showing out, so it's pretty cool to see. So I mean, we can go noticeably. Let's just say what week, and we'll leave it at that. So for all three of us, and I'll go first, John will go second, Barrett will go third. What week will we see Justin Fields take over? I'm saying week 4 or 5.
I'm not familiar with the schedule if I had to look at it, but I'm going to say their bye week. After their bye week, he's coming out.
After the bye week, okay.
After the bye week.
Barrett, what do you got for Fields?
I believe that they should be the Browns this upcoming week. So, honestly, or no, actually, no, they play the Bengals. So if they lose to the Bengals, yeah, I think that we're going to see Fields next week. Week 3.
What about do you think Lance gets a start this year?
No, dude, Jimmy did great. He had 313 yards passing.
Great. Look at him go. He's got the paper. Ladies and gents, he's holding up a newspaper. It's got Trey Lance on it. He's showing his boy off. Golden child.
Boy.
There it is.
Go. So let's move on to speaking of Trey Lance. What week are we going to see Trey Lance? I'm saying you guys are still accurate in what you were saying, Barrett. I'm going week 10 for Trey Lance.
I'm on the same train as that, week 10. Yeah, Jimmy G has still got control of this, and they look good with Jimmy G still.
Together. I just like the packages that they were incorporated with, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It was balanced. And if this is going to go on all season, look out. Once they fine-tune that machine, that is the 49ers, it's going to be dangerous.
49ers did lose their cornerback, though, so take that into account.
Yeah, another third ACL. Chargers, good for getting rid of him. Wish him a speedy recovery.
Yeah, for real. Let's transition from a couple standout rookies to one rookie that was alarming, and let's talk about Trevor Lawrence. Like, what happened here?
It was less on Trevor and more of, dude, Urban Meyer doesn't know what to do with this team. They rushed for a grand total of 17 rushing attempts for the whole game.
What?
We're going to talk about more on that, too. Actually, I like where you're going with this, Barrett. We're going to backtrack.
9 times. 9 times, Carlos Hyde. James Robinson rushed 6 times by himself.
And James Robinson was a stud last year. There's no reason to not rush James Robinson.
That's disappointing.
Let's talk rushing. Why do the Cowboys only use Ezekiel Elliott 11 attempts?
Because the Bucks defense is the number 1 rated rush defense in the league.
So
Vita Vea looked good. He was there like every play.
So here's why I'm saying so. I'm not, and it's not to be like a jerk or be ignorant or anything like that. I'm saying so what because here's the thing. Here's the thing in my head is that in order to get a run game going, some of those backs, I mean those like, first down, second down type backs, where they're gonna like just run up with their blockers. It's a endurance game. And I've seen this as a Vikings fan. Adrian, and granted, not everybody is Adrian Peterson, right? But that's the type of back Ezekiel Elliott is. He's a power back. He's not a guy that you're going to get going off of your first 10 attempts. Like, he's a guy that you wear down a defense by going, okay, 15, 20, 25 attempts a game. And now it's opened up the passing game because they're stacking the box, because the defense is starting to wear down. He's starting to hit on him a little bit. That was my thought on it. I was like, you're not giving him enough attempts here. Like, you got to give him something to do because this isn't working by not running Ezekiel Elliott. And what it first reminded me of when I was watching that game was Mike McCarthy's back at it again with his old style Packers offense, which got him a lot of losses and eventually kicked out of Green Bay and fired. Like,
Not running the ball.
Not running the ball. So that was my thought.
He's a volume back. He needs a lot of volume to build up his rushing.
And he gets better with the more you run him, the better I feel he does.
Mm-hmm.
But the Bucks have so much depth on that defensive line. Like they had Vita Vea, they got Jason Pierre-Paul, Joe Tryon that they just drafted is a great rotational piece.
Levante Williams.
What was that last one?
Oh, Levante David. Sorry, not Williams. So I got two names mixed up.
Oh, you're good.
Correction.
Their defense in general is just really, really tough. As for Ezekiel Elliott, I mean, I'm not worried about him in long term.
Mm-hmm.
That was a rough week 1. It's going to happen, and I don't think the Cowboys are going to be passing for 58 passing attempts every single week.
No.
Yeah.
I think Elliott, for any fantasy owner, needs to, like, including myself, needs to just calm down. You got a really good running back in your draft. Like, I know it doesn't feel like it off of the first week. Just calm down. Like, put him back in your lineup somewhere. Like, I have him in my flex.
There you go.
Like, it sounds stupid. I put him in my flex just to feel a little more comfortable, even though he's going to get the same output no matter where he's going to start. But I put him in my flex. I got Elijah Mitchell starting with Josh Jacobs in that league, and I'm just gonna. My projection's already lower than who I'm playing that week, so I have nothing to lose other than just to play him. I have no player on my team, and I have good depth in that league that can literally boost me over to Stetson's projection. I have no player that's gonna bump me over. I just don't. So.
Also, if you're going like don't look at projections and don't beat up your team by projections.
Matchups, baby.
Of the time, projections don't mean shit.
Nope.
Like, it's not gonna work out for you.
Yep, it's all matchups.
Like in our Dynasty Juniors League, my projections, I was 98% on all of my hits.
Yep.
That never happens. That was the first time in the history of the app that it said that I got 98 of mine.
Yeah.
Spot on. So.
And there's so much truth to that too, and people need to realize that it's like you gotta calm down, you gotta trust your gut, you gotta trust matchups. Like, I'm flexing Damian Harris in a couple leagues because they're playing the Jets. Like,
ride that to victory, dude. That's gonna work. That's good for you. Except for he did fumble, so
he fumbled late in the game, right?
Yeah, and he might be in the doghouse. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Doghouse.
Bill Belichick does not like it when you make big mistakes like that. So Bill Belichick, I hope he gives him a second chance.
I'm just bringing it up. With the Damian Harris going against the Jets,
mm-hmm.
they might pull him early because they're so far up. he might not get the volume that you're looking for.
Right.
So also take that into account when you're starting these players.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd put him in your flex or somebody else just in case that happens, or you can pivot from someplace else.
While we're talking about transitioning to new players and like just watching your rosters, this is a perfect segment to switch to our waiver wires. So we obviously saw the weeks that we had, and any good fantasy owner is going to go and they're going to make some moves. So what moves did you guys see that surprised you? What moves did you do yourself? So let's start with Barrett.
Yeah, start with Barrett.
I picked up Mike Williams in a Fab budget league
Mhm.
for $1. So I mean, I was ecstatic with that, and then I picked up Tim Patrick for free. So those are two that I was riding. I think we can get some pretty good value off that. The other ones that I'm seeing a lot out there is Christian Kirk. He is for free. You
Yeah.
can get him for dirt cheap. And another one is Sterling Shepard. You could ride off on Sterling Shepard for a couple more weeks while Galladay still kind of takes reins over that team. So
Yeah,
those are the big ones.
I agree. So for me on mine, I had Gronk as a backup in one of my leagues because I didn't have backup tight end, and obviously he's Gronkowski, and people were afraid to touch him because he's retired and came back and all the above. So he was still there. So I was like, well, I'll pick him up, see what happens this week, right? Guys, he scored 29 points.
The dude went off.
And it hurt. And it was against a good Dallas defense to start week 1. It was against a good Dallas defense.
Good Dallas defense.
I mean, Dallas's defense isn't. Let me rephrase this. Dallas's defense isn't a great defense, right? We all know that. But in terms of a tight end to get open, sometimes it's harder. And man, Gronk went off hard. I don't think anybody expected that. So, I think Gronk was worth a pickup. I picked up Elijah Mitchell in I think 2 or 3 leagues just because he was. I mean, who else are you going to pick up at running back if you want depth in the 49ers roster right now? Trey Sermon, I don't know if they're really going to use him yet. So, I mean, I'm sure he's going to dress for this Sunday's game, but I don't know if we're actually going to see a whole lot of him. I mean, Trey Sermon had a game, boys and girls. He had a good game. So, that to me, that's saying let's run it back next week with Elijah Mitchell and give him a second chance and see what else he can do. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at for my waivers. I did get Sterling Shepard, and another notable one I think to keep an eye on is Zach Pascal because Carson seemed to like to throw to him a lot.
Okay.
John, where you at?
I'm gonna surprise you all. I didn't make a move. Not one. I'm not in panic mode. I didn't make
Cotton. We'll take.
Yeah, I didn't make one move. I didn't put an offer out there. I am confident in my team. I think I just, if I got blasted out the waters, that guy just had a better game than me. I like my team. I like the points we produced. I'm not worried.
I respect that because everybody's panicking. Everybody's panicking. It's week 1, and here's the thing. The one thing I wanted to say about Monday Night Football was it was super sloppy. It was incredibly sloppy. And Barrett and you guys can attest to it in the Dynasty Junior League. I said Lamar Jackson is going to have a bad game.
He did. You called it.
Like I said, he's going to have a bad game because they lost 3 running backs. That's why I got stock in Tyson Williams. And, I mean, you see Latavius Murray, or however you want to say his name. The funny way to say his name is Latvius Murray. I got a good laugh at that, but I do think that Lamar's going to struggle right now. I said halfway through the game, too, I said, why are they not blitzing Lamar Jackson right now? I mean, tire that front offensive line down and start sacking him. He'll make mistakes. Bring a corner up from the backfield and keep coverage. Start blitzing him a little bit. And they didn't do their first blitz until the third quarter of the game, late.
Yeah, you're asking about the Raiders.
And what are you doing? You got Lamar Jackson is he's not. I I know it's a mean thing to say, but everyone says it too. Is he's a running back?
He does it. He can't pass.
He can't pass. Like, and when he tried to have like accurate passes downfield, he was overthrowing his receivers by like 5-6 yards.
One passing touchdown to Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, it
Didn't look good.
wasn't a great performance. So expect to see more of that out of the Ravens.
Did we go over the Dynasty Juniors?
We
roster
did
breakdown?
not. We did not. And let's explain let's explain what for people what this type of league is if they've never seen one before. So this is through the new Sleeper app. First off, do you guys like Sleeper?
I'm enjoying it.
I
I'm
love
enjoying
it. It's amazing, dude. I'm a big fan. I'll be moving most of my leagues to Sleeper from now
I
on.
don't know if I like it
about
very
you,
much.
Mike?
I don't know if I
Okay.
like it very much, but I mean,
Okay.
I'm glad to be a part of any league that is doing this with friends. So
Yeah. I kind of like the chat. It's just super simple to swipe up, and you see your chat right there, and
yeah, I feel that.
it's gonna take getting used to, definitely.
And it's new. It's new, so they'll update a lot of stuff too. So
Sure.
And for reference, this was an auction draft.
yes.
For people that like
So for people who don't know what an auction draft is, this is my first time doing it and John's first time doing it. But you get an allotted budget of $200 to start the draft, and basically you're gonna it's like a bidding war for every single player. So the draft lasts a very long time. Forewarning, if you're gonna do one of these, but it's really fun. Like I can't encourage to do a draft like this to enhance your skills as a fantasy football player by a mile, because you can't just spend your whole wad on one player. And then so going into like the season starting, we now have our matchups. Sorry about my team name if it offends anybody. It is sucking my TDs.
I like it.
So I'll go through my roster and go through your guys' too. My roster. This is a 2-year league, correct, Barrett?
3.
You have to. Well, it's until somebody wins 2 times. So
Oh shit. Okay.
it can go up to 7 to 10 years sometimes.
Oh wow. Okay. Gotcha. So there you have it. This league can last a very long time. So you want to draft young. So I went with that mentality after Barrett coached me a little bit. I'm not stressing it. I drafted Joe Burrow, who had a very good game against the Minnesota Vikings. I drafted Miles Sanders from Philadelphia because I didn't see any backs that were more impressive than him. DeAndre Swift, I think he's going to be a good back for the Lions for the future. A.J. Brown, Nelson Aguilar came out of nowhere, and he's been playing really well for New England. He's kind of a waiver guy to look into. F1 McLaurin, Terry McLaurin, is a stud. I think that even with the quarterback woes going on in Washington football team, he's still a good guy to have around. I think he's a good stock to have around because, I mean, there's not a whole lot of people in Washington to throw to. I got George Kittle, Chase Edmonds, who came out of nowhere last week, and he played well. Gerald Everett. This week I'm flexing Gerald Everett, and I'm playing George Kittle at tight end, so I feel really good about that. And then this is a super flex league, so I'm super flexing Carson Wentz versus Matt Ryan, which I feel really good about because Matt Ryan is going to play like Dookie against Tom Brady. On my bench, I have Trey Lance, Tevin Coleman, which I'm making some moves to get rid of him or trade him away somehow. Zach Pascal, I picked up Van Jefferson, Gerald Davis, Randall Cobb, and Anthony Ferkser from the Titans. So that is my
I like
roster.
your team a lot. For somebody who's never done auction before, you did amazing by getting youth
Thanks, man.
and getting players. That was perfect. Good job, man.
Thanks, I appreciate it. I was nervous the whole draft too, and I think John did good. I think John did a really good job too, just being patient with money. John, you ended with like $15, right?
You know what? That's the one thing I learned about is I held on to too much money towards the end. I should have used more of it.
Fair enough.
Auction drafts are way different than your normal snake drafts. Like you have to go in there with a plan of who you want and walk out with those players that you're looking for.
You got to find a way.
Kudos to a lot of those. I learned a lot from that first draft, and I should have spent money. I didn't feel comfortable walking out with that much money in my pocket compared to what I could have got. So I learned, but I'm happy with my team.
There's really good though. Really, really good though.
So
definitely room for improvement.
So speaking of these guys as teams here,
Can we go and do mine next by chance? I gotta
Yep.
head on out here
Yep,
pretty soon.
pulling you up right now. So Barrett's team is on the left here. He's had a very close matchup with riding in my Lambo, which was Hexus. He's got Jimmy Garoppolo, Alvin Kamara, Antonio Gibson, Amari Cooper. That's a great pick in Antonio Gibson, by the way. Allen Robinson, Tyler Lockett, Tyler Higbee. You got all the Tylers. Kenny Galladay, Deontay Johnson, Jalen Hurts as a super flex, which is actually a pretty good super flex right now. Justin Fields, Giovanni Bernard, and then Le'Veon Bell, who is now on the Ravens practice squad. And then, who's this guy? Who's this cat? Larry Roundtree. And then Paris
Charger.
Campbell. Amon-Ra St. Brown for Detroit. And then De'Ami Brown. So again, a lot of these guys, you're going to be very confused by their names because I've never seen that guy on a team before. Well, it's not because it's depth. That's what it is. So you're going to be drafting younger, and then going over to John's team. I'm going to have both these guys talk about their teams a little bit once we go through the list. John got Aaron Rodgers, Austin Eckler, Chris Carson, Julio Jones, Cooper Kupp, Keenan Allen, Kyle Pitts, which is a great pick in a dynasty league from my understanding. Kareem Hunt, Marvin Jones, Mac Jones is a super flex, which I think is a great pick. David Johnson, Leonard Fournette, Will Fuller, Mecole Hardman, Henry Ruggs, and Evan Ingram. So go ahead and talk about your rosters, boys. Like, why did you pick who you picked?
Barrett, go ahead.
So for mine, this is a full point PPR league, so I wanted guys that are getting receptions, like guaranteed volume at all times. And then I noticed that Mike had dropped Kenny Galladay, so I picked him up and rolled that shot. With my end, I ended up drafting pretty much my whole entire starting lineup and part of my bench, and I had no money left. So like my De'Ami Brown and my Amon-Ra St. Brown and all those guys are just guys that I'll stash and I'll see how they turn out at the end of their rookie years. All those guys are rookies, and they were probably like the upper echelon of the rookie class that came out. With Dynasty, you really need to focus on rookies that are coming out for the following year as well. So I watched quite a bit of college, and I liked Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I loved De'Ami Brown. So I'm kind of happy I got those, and I love my team. I think if I'm not going to be in the top 3, probably in the top 5, if not. So I'm pretty happy about my team, and I think, John, your team looks pretty damn good. What do you think about your team, bud?
I mean, so I wanted what I wanted. So I got my Austin Eckler. That's my home team. I got Aaron Rodgers. I know this is probably going to be his last season there, but if I'm planning for next year, most elite quarterbacks that transfer do pretty well, if I do say so myself. Chris Carson, he's a workhorse, and I want a workhorse. My mentality drafting this year was win now, but then have depth for the future.
I think you did it.
What was that?
I think you did it right.
You definitely did.
Julio Jones, how long is he going to be elite? Week 1 was a blemish. Forget about it. Cooper Kupp, I like him. I love him. I like to have him in every one of my teams if I could.
You don't say.
You call him as your guy, too, wasn't it?
Yeah, he did say. I think he did say. I have to go back and listen, but I think he did say my guy was Cooper Kupp or Herbie. It might have been Herbie.
I missed out on Herbert. That one hurt. So I took Aaron Rodgers. And then it's a super flex. I wanted to have that backup QB. I pulled the trigger a little late. I ended up with Mac Jones, but it is a dynasty league, so we're planning for the future. Kyle Pitts, he's the number 1 talked about tight end coming out of the draft. Of course you want that for the next year. Do I expect things out of him this year? Absolutely. And I expect things from him for years to come. I took a flyer on Travis Etienne. I know he's done for the year, but I'm planning for the future.
So here's my
good stash, by the way, too. By the way,
Travis
Etienne is a great stash, especially in the full point PPR. Congratulations, you won with that.
You won.
I was trying to get him, and you ended up paying $1 more than I wanted to pay. So congratulations, you got it.
Thank you.
So here's my question about some of these players that we were just talking about. I got to go back down. Like I got to backtrack a little bit to what you were saying, John. God, you listed a player, and I had it in my head, and then we switched to Travis Etienne. Who are you?
I talked right before that was Mac.
Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts. Yes. Okay. Here we go. So Kyle Pitts, right? Are you panicking about him right now after week 1?
No.
Nor should you.
It takes rookies normally about a month to 6 weeks to get acclimated to the speed of the NFL for tight ends. So
Not if Justin Fields. I will say it was so funny in preseason when Justin Fields said, "The game feels slow to me," and then the next week he got like drilled into Kansas.
He got derailed.
I'm not gonna lie, that was quite enjoyable because I think he won't say things like that anymore.
That was his welcome to the NFL rookie moment.
Yeah,
right there.
yeah, because he finally got put in with some starters at defense, and they whacked him on that play. So I think that was like a very humbling moment for him in his first couple games of the NFL, and that's all right because sometimes those guys need it, and I think that it was good for him to take a big hit and be like, okay, well maybe this game ain't that slow anymore because, well, yeah, man, you're not playing third string guys anymore. You know, you're not playing guys who are trying to like make the roster. You're playing guys who are trying to become a starter from a second string. You know, they want to be a starter. So I thought that was really interesting. They don't want to be backup anymore. But with all that being said, every fantasy player seems to have a bold prediction. So I want to get Barrett's bold prediction, and then we'll get yours, John, and we'll get mine, and then we'll end things on the week 2 previews. So let's jump to bold predictions. Go ahead and give us a good bold prediction start, Barrett.
So with my bold prediction here is with Ryan Fitzpatrick going down to injury, I think that they bring in Cam Newton. And I think that Cam Newton running this Washington football team, I think they take the NFC Championship. I think they go all the way to the championship with Cam Newton at the helm. Reuniting with Ron Rivera, and I think they can do it. I think he can do it. He's got great weapons there. He's got Curtis Samuel, who is one of his best friends, and he's got Coach Rivera back there. So let's see what happens. And I think they need a quarterback because Taylor Heineke is not it.
Let's see.
Okay. What were you saying? Sorry.
I was just gonna say I respect that take a lot, but from what I've heard is that him and Ron Rivera didn't really get along near the end in Carolina. So I don't know if I foresee that coming, but you know, I'm a believer in second chances.
He came up there and hugged Ron Rivera when they played each other in preseason. So
that's good. I didn't know that.
But anyways, I actually have to head on out, guys. I gotta go take care of my baby. I was blessed with a newborn baby on Sunday. So.
Oh yeah!
Hey, shout out.
I love it. It's great. Being a father is amazing. I can't be happier with how everything turned out. Is there if I plug my channel real quick before I head out?
Plug away.
I clapped you out, Barrett. I gave you a round of applause for your baby.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. So now we just released our first episode last week for the Redzone Fantasy Football Podcast. We will be doing one hopefully tonight or tomorrow. But it's Redzone Fantasy Football. We released it out to Anchor and to a few different places. So if you please come out and check it out, I appreciate all the views. And
very good.
If you want to message me, you can find me at on Twitter rather, Barrett_RZFF. And I'd love to talk to you. Thank you all for having me on, and have a great day.
Thanks for coming back, Barrett. And you'll see me and John on there from time to time too, right? I'm sure.
What?
Yep. Your guest appearances are definitely warranted. I will definitely have you guys on. So I'd love it. Thank you guys. We got a lot of the season left to go, and I can't wait for the discourse. So
yeah, see you later, buddy.
Bye, Barrett.
Bye. Let me get some things adjusted here, and then John, you give me your bold prediction for the season. What are you thinking?
Saquon falls outside the top 20.
Falls outside? Wow. Why? Elaborate.
You said bold take, man. I don't have to elaborate why. I think there are other players that are gonna have, for example, I think I just think the production over at it's gonna be airborne. I don't think it's gonna travel through. I don't think it's gonna travel through Saquon. I think he's gonna have a rough season. Bounce. I don't think he bounces back from that injury the same. You saw that week 1 performance. Was I disappointed? Absolutely.
Very slow. Yeah.
Very disappointing for the price he went, which is still a top 10. I drafted him number 10. I just don't think he has the year, and I have him. So I'm just saying I don't think he does much.
Yeah.
20. I was gonna say top 20. Top 20. He falls outside of it.
Yeah, I get it. So Callista's asking, before you end stream, do you mind if I get your thoughts on a move that I'm considering? Yes, Callista, please put it in the chat. My bold prediction for this year is, oh man, I'm gonna have to think about it for a second. There's a lot of things that could happen here. But if I had to go with one, it's that maybe, just maybe, Matthew Stafford makes an MVP run.
Absolutely.
Like, I know we're in week 1, right? I know that. Like, I'm well aware of that. So, Barrett, are you good, Ben?
Who, me?
Barrett, join back in.
Oh. Yo, when you're back, can I address Callisto? Because I'm in the same situation.
Let me. Okay, he's gone. So I think Matt Stafford, the way he played week 1 he was a baller, right? So I really am a firm believer that there's a high chance that he makes a possible MVP run if he keeps playing like this, because he balled out. So that's my bold prediction. We'll see what happens with that. I was very impressed with Matt Stafford because I always used to dog on the guy as a Lion, but at the same time, I didn't really dog on him at all because I always said I felt like the Lions were the problem for him and not him, because we've said he's an absolute soldier of a quarterback.
If I do say so myself, if you saw any bit of after the game Rams like press conference, the dude is having fun.
He looks thinner too.
He looks like he's having a good time over at the Rams, and you love to see it.
Yeah.
After struggling for so many years, just trying to have a productive year with the Lions, he looks like the weight is off his shoulders. Is that weird to say? But he looks like he's relaxed. He's having fun.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I can't agree more, actually. I think that Matt Stafford just looks like a different quarterback over in LA. He looks insanely happy. He looks very fit. He looks more fit than he's ever looked, in my personal opinion. I thought he looked a lot healthier. I think if he's lost a little bit of weight, he looks happy.
Right?
Yeah, he looks quite good. So
those LA diets.
Yeah, those LA diets. He went vegetarian or something, man. Yeah, he looked pretty awesome. So let's end and wrap this show up, and then I'll address the raid and everything. So, week 2 previews. How are we? Oh, I'm sorry, Callisto. You're right. I did forget to go. I saw the raid come through.
Do you mind if I address that? Because I'm in the same situation.
Evan Ingram was my backup tight end. Since he's currently out, I was thinking to pick up Juwan Johnson. Do you have any thoughts on him? John, you can answer that because I don't know much about Juwan Johnson.
All right. So Juwan Johnson, he's quite nice just because he has that, if in leagues, he has that tight end wide receiver availability. You're able to play him in multiple positions. And I think he's getting looks. Without Michael Thomas there, it's honestly it's fair game for anybody. And he put up a decent amount of points if I do recall this week with Evan Ingram out. I thought about dropping him. I do have space on my roster, so I don't have 17 points. Exactly.
17 points, huh?
That's good. We don't know how long Evan Ingram is going to be out. If Evan Ingram if you're able to drop him, you want to back a tight end, I'm not against it. I'm not against dropping Evan Ingram. I think Sterling Shepard is their go-to guy right now, along with Saquon Barkley. They have a loaded wide receiver core. I don't. Yeah, exactly, Kalisto. So I think if you have to, go for it. But I think Jawan Thompson and the New Orleans Saints offense, it's fair game up until week 8 until Michael Thomas gets back. So if you have to
Yeah.
pull the trigger, I wouldn't be against it. I wouldn't be mad at you. I would applaud you for that move. It's hard though. Evan Ingram is that guy. He's that guy. But how often are you gonna get him? You
True.
don't know. You don't know.
Good answer. Good answer.
There you
I think
go.
you
There you
nailed it.
go.
I think you nailed it. Yeah,
Hey,
yes.
we did stuff. We doing stuff here.
Good job, John. That was a good answer.
Thank you. I'm here for the people. I'm here for the people.
Let's jump into some of the final discussion on week 2 previews. So, would you so kindly pull up the schedule for week 2
Not a problem. Give me
or
one
the
moment.
matchups? I know that this week I'll cover the Vikings before we get into this. While you're pulling it up, so I was very frustrated with the Vikings in terms of penalties. I'll repeat that. I was very upset with the Vikings actually in terms of penalties. I mean, we played bad football. I'm not going to say the whole loss was blamed on 2 terrible officiating calls because that's not true. The Vikings played bad at times in that game, and there was no, you can't, like, you gotta, in this game, it's a team sport. There's no room for error. And I mean, at one point, I think it said the Vikings had like 10 penalties for like 91 yards. It's a lot of penalties. It's a lot of yards to give up. It's crazy, like, how bad that was. So, as a Vikings fan, they gotta play better. And Mike Zimmer, he's still not the guy for me. He's still not the guy. I think that we don't have a head coach that we're going to win a Super Bowl with. And I always say this. I'm very grateful for what Mike Zimmer has done for the team and where he's gotten us out of to where we are now as a relevant football team again and having good records and winning records and making the postseason a couple of times. But like, as a Vikings fan and looking at the roster that we have now, we got to go win one now. We got Dalvin Cook, we got Justin Jefferson, we got a lot of good teams, or a lot of good players on this team. Sorry, we got to go win something now. We can't have this mindset of an older style of coaching, and this is what he's used to, so this is what we're gonna do. Like, that's why the Shanahans work. That's why the Matt LaFleur's work. Like, that's why those Sean McVay type coaches, their offenses work. Like, I think the one older coach that, and even he's on his way out right now, is in Seattle, and Pete Carroll. Like, that style of coaching is starting to not work. The old school style of football, it's going out the window. The game's evolving, and you got to evolve with it. And right now, in my personal opinion, as a Vikings fan and as a realist, we're not going in the right direction. We're stagnant. That's where the Vikings are for me. I mean, we're 0-1 for a reason. I think the Vikings should have won the game in terms of the missed Justin Jefferson call touchdown being called back. That doesn't matter because they scored with Dalvin Cook the next play. But the fumble in overtime was not a fumble. The fact that they called that a fumble was ridiculous, and I love how every Viking is being a professional about it and saying we just got to go better. We just got to go out and win the next week. We got to be better. That's what true winners do. They don't sit and dwell on last week's loss. Same thing in fantasy. You don't sit and dwell on last week's loss. You don't focus on projections when you're down. You put together the best roster that you can, and if you lose, you lose. That's just the way it goes. Covered the Chargers really quick, and we'll do week 2 preview.
Okay, I got you. Let's see. Chargers, what did I get out of it? We love Austin Eckler. There's going to be a lot of Austin Eckler love this season. Mike Williams is on a contract year, so he balled out. And it's nice. with the new head coach, we're utilizing Mike Williams like we haven't utilized Mike Williams before. Before, Mike Williams was just an afterthought, and I think that we are starting to incorporate uh, his playmaking ability. You know, he's down in the deep, in the red zone target. He's a big man to cover, and I like how Coach Staley is my guy right now. Coach Staley is we're a family. We are the tightest knit Charger crew that I've experienced in past. We had fans show up at the Washington football team.
That's good.
Like we're excited as a Charger fan. It's refreshing. We love Coach. I think our players love Coach. I love Coach.
And that Washington football defense is nothing to scoff at.
No, it's not. And we
They're
gave up
studs.
no sacks.
It's crazy. Herbie's
rookie-
dangerous.
Our rookie stood up against Ryan, right?
Unreal.
That's your boy. You have him on defense.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I was pleasantly surprised with my boys.
Chase Young.
The AFC West is undefeated right now. It's gonna be a tough season. Absolutely. It's not an easy schedule.
Not at all. Speaking of schedules, let's move into week 2.
Perfect. Let me start with the Thursday night. We have New York at Washington.
How do you see this game going, Johnny?
I see Washington getting it right. That defense is no joke, and I think with a Saquon that's still timid. I just feel like he's running timid. Like he's not running at his full potential, and that's gonna be what's gonna be holding him back. So I think that the defense is no joke over there in Washington. As much as kudos to my team, it wasn't an easy feat. Washington will be coming for their throats, and I think New York has to dominate the run game. If they're gonna win, they have to incorporate the run game.
I am gonna stay on this with Washington as well. I think even though the quarterback situation that they got going on over there, I gotta say I don't trust that Giants offense. I think that what you're saying is 100% true. I think I looked today at Saquon's performance last week, 3.7 points. That's I feel like he is running timid. I feel like he's scared that his knee. He had total reconstructive knee surgery, so it wasn't like no small surgery. It was a lot of surgery. So,
and I think with Coach Ron Rivera, give him a week with Taylor Heineke that build a plan with him. They're gonna execute. I like Coach Ron Rivera too, so I'm gonna give him his credit. And
here's where I'm at with Taylor Heineke, and he was always the guy that I wanted to be the backup quarterback in Minnesota. Oh. And when Minnesota got rid of him, the guy was kind of partying a little bit. He had an injury. I think he kicked in a window or something like that or he punched in a window. He cut up his throwing arm, I think is what it was, pretty good. And he was just irresponsible and young, and he had a lot of money because he had been with the Vikings for a year already, and he was on one of the smaller deals, but I mean, it's still a lot of money. I feel like he just made a mistake, and then the Vikings didn't want him after that, and they sent him packing, So when he ended up being on the Washington football team, I was like, oh, here we go again, And then when he he went to Carolina first, I believe, and then once Carolina, I think, traded him or got rid of him, he was picked up by the Washington football team. And, then he had that playoff game against the Buccaneers last year, and I was like, whoa, this guy's turned 180 here, and
how close were they?
They were so close to beating the Buccaneers and going to the Super Bowl. They had a deep playoff run. I was like, wow, okay, this is going to be the starting quarterback for the Washington football team at some point. Now, I thought that from the beginning. I'm not just saying that. I went on SportsMe. I put it in Sports Takes and in the SportsMe app, where, by the way, you guys can all join that, debate some people, get involved in conversations with fantasy football if you love this. Check out SportsMe, download it. It's like TikTok for sports enthusiasts. It's really fun. But yeah, I sit on some sports takes on there, and people would laugh at me. They was like, really? Like They have Ryan Fitzpatrick, and I was like, Ryan Fitzpatrick is a temporary quarterback anywhere he goes. And that's not a bash at his talent because he's a very talented quarterback, and
Dylan.
I mean, there's all these funny names for him, Fitzmagic and all this stuff, and a bunch more that I probably can't think of off the top of my head right now. But I mean, it's pretty Fitz-tragic with what happened with his injury. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, Fitz. I love you. But it is bad that what happened to him, and I feel like, this going to Taylor Heineke, it's like, it's a good feeling to be right and be like, man, like, not, and I'm not glad he got hurt. I'm not saying that, because I do like Fitzpatrick quite a bit, but hashtag Fitztragic, don't do that. You never want to see a guy get hurt, so it sounds like he's out 6 to 8 weeks. This is Taylor Heineke's time to show that this is my team. So I think that
with my boys doing that, too, should have laid him down easier.
So I think this is going to be cool to see how he handles the pressure. And he's got some weapons, so give him a week or two to get blended into this offense pretty good, and I think they'll get right back where they were.
I have faith in them. I do. He's got the taste of the playoffs. He knows what it takes to play elite. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was a baller. He was a baller in that playoff game. No two ways about it. So I'm excited to see it. What's the next one that we got?
Cincinnati at Chicago.
Cincinnati.
Yeah. Cincinnati.
Lamar Chase, T. Higgins.
That Chicago offense is just tragic.
The defense is awful too. I mean, that's not a good. The Bears' defense is not good. So.
What happened?
I don't know. And
their coach is now my coach. That's what happened. That's what happened. Staley's now a Charger, ladies and gents. That's what happened.
So I mean, Matt Nagy, I feel like for the Bears has gotten the most passes of any head football coach, right next to Adam Gase and the New York Jets, and I feel like it's time for the Bears to make a move and get rid of Matt Nagy, because the reason why are you starting Andy Dalton? Why?
What do you have to lose, man, besides your job?
Like, why are you still... Andy Dalton did terrible. Justin Fields scores a touchdown in that game. Why are you even starting Andy Dalton? You're wasting your time. There's no... Okay, John. We'll test this theory. Can you give me a reason why you would want to start Andy Dalton over Justin Fields in Chicago right now?
Not one.
Not one.
What? You got youth on his side. You have the mobility on his side. I am not trusting Andy Dalton with a...
Okay, so what if I was like the average football fan right now and said, well, Andy Dalton has been an NFL quarterback for a long time, and he did good. He had playoff caliber players and like top 10, top 5 fantasy players in Cincinnati, and also, he played in Dallas. What would you say about that?
So that's fine, but what has he gotten you since, like, after all that? What does he have to prove for it? He's a good fill-in quarterback, but he doesn't have the track record to get you there. If your job is on the line, why wouldn't you put in a mobile quarterback, a young quarterback who no one knows how to game plan around?
Right.
Because they haven't seen him. They have college tape, but you're not using all your gas. You have it in the tank. Why not use it?
Yeah, I mean, you're literally sitting. You're sitting with your spare tire on the bottom of your vehicle.
You got that good year. You're not hitting it.
And you got nothing. Your tires are burnt, man. You got nothing left there with Andy Dalton. I don't know why you're wasting your time.
I think with Justin Fields adds a different dimension to your offense. You have to stress the QB run. You have David Montgomery, who's a good running back, but you're not...
Allen Robinson.
Darnell
Mooney.
That team can explode.
Jimmy Graham, right? Jimmy Graham's there?
Jimmy Graham is there. And I think at this time, with the Green Bay loss, you should definitely run that.
It's time.
Run Justin Fields.
It's time. Put him in.
That's the deciding factor. Green Bay is at the same level as you right now. Do you
Yep.
want to take that step and go ahead, or are you just gonna be average all season?
I mean, this is what Andy Dalton did in Dallas. This is what we saw from him in Dallas. Same output. He's not your guy.
We respect him. We love him. But it's Justin Fields' time to shine.
It's time for Justin Fields. Move on. Let's go to the next one.
Next game, we got Houston at Cleveland. Oh, gosh.
Oh, God.
Sorry. We love Tyrod, but I got to go with my boys in Cleveland.
You're going Cleveland, huh?
I am.
I'm going to go Cleveland on this. I think Cleveland gets it turned around. I think that Baker Mayfield might play pretty good this week. I feel like he especially the Texans defense, I think that he's going to play pretty lights out.
You got Mahomes. I ain't mad at you, Browns. You got Mahomes.
Did you see the Office meme that they made of Dwight and Angela? Have you ever seen the memes where they have like Dwight standing like by himself and, and she comes up behind him? It said the Cleveland Browns and then Patrick Mahomes was Angela. It was so funny. It was like, oh fuck.
I love the Office. I love the Office. Send me all the memes.
I will send you all the memes.
Should we move on to the next one?
Yep.
I think we're all unanimous that Cleveland's it's their time to shine. Next one's gonna be a good one. LA Rams at the Indianapolis Colts.
Well, hold on. Are you saying Tyrod Taylor? You're saying that the Texans don't win?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Moving on.
Los Angeles Rams at the Indianapolis Colts. Your take, Mike?
Well, here's the thing. Carson Wentz played really good, right? He played great last week. I mean, I think it was like 245 yards, 2 tutties. He had 0 picks. I don't think he took any sacks. No, he took a few sacks, but you gotta look at the line of scrimmage and go, okay, well, why is our quarterback getting sacked? I mean, and Carson kept him in the game for a little while, and plus you're playing Seattle, who's a good defense. They're always a pretty good defense. So I felt like it was a good first game back for Carson, but I just don't. I feel with T.Y. Hilton going down, I'm leaning towards the Rams on this. I think Matthew Stafford puts on another show against the Indianapolis Colts secondary. I think he burns them a few times.
I gotta agree with you, man. Matthew Stafford just looks like a different quarterback out there.
Carson Wentz looked better than he did in Philadelphia, but I feel like he's with T.Y. out right now. They got to figure something out with chemistry.
How's their running? Like I really honestly didn't get to watch it. You know.
I think JT had a pretty good game. The run game was all right with Jonathan Taylor. Carson moved the ball pretty good. He was getting pretty comfortable with Zach Pascal, it seemed. So I'll say that much. But I mean, it was a tough game for the Colts, and I think they got. They're not a bad team with Carson. I think that they are a good team with Carson, but they got to figure some things out.
I agree. So I think we're both unanimous. We're shooting for the LA Rams. Put your money on it.
Put your money on it.
Buffalo at Miami.
Buffalo gets a revenge game. I think Josh Allen played really poor his first game back against Pittsburgh, and I think that's going to be a bad taste in his mouth, and Josh Allen's going to get back to being the Josh Allen from last year. So it's a good bounce-back game for Josh Allen. I'm starting him in one of my leagues, actually.
I hope so. I really hope Buffalo gets it together. I expect big things out of them. I don't have any shares of them, but I expect big things from Buffalo. Miami on the other. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say Buffalo's defense did somehow manage to stay at like 7 points or 8 points.
Within 7 and 8.
Yeah, so it's pretty good.
And it wasn't a high-scoring game.
No, not at all.
No, it was tight. It was a tight-knit game. I mean, Miami had a game against
the Pats.
The Pats. So it's Bill Belichick and Brian Flores, 2 coaches who know each other. They went toe-to-toe. 2 Alabama quarterbacks going at it. I think the experience and the chemistry is strong on Buffalo. I'm going to aim for Buffalo getting it right. I think they're just too good to not.
I don't see him going 0-2.
No, definitely not.
All right, let's go to the next one.
Oh, this is a good one. This is what I'm probably. Honestly, if I could watch this game, which I probably can't because of the area, it's New England at New York.
Oh,
Fun.
that's a
That's a
fun game.
rookie quarterbacks at the helm.
We got Mac Jones versus Zach Wilson.
Yeah, that's a fun game to watch.
I think I'm gonna go. The Patriots get turned around. They don't go 0-2, but this game will be a little bit of a shootout between these two quarterbacks.
I gotta take Bill Belichick. He's a coach. You know, he's the coach, a defensive-minded coach, along with Robert Saleh at the New York Jets. But I think, I just think Bill Belichick's the better of the coaches. I think he knows what he's got. I'm gonna put my money on New England. Robert Saleh, I don't want you to go 0-2. Please prove me wrong.
Yeah, I want to see. I think there's just something about the Patriots and the Jets. I think the Patriots win this. It's a close game, maybe 10 points, 7 points. I do think that the Patriots win because I mean, Bill Belichick just has a way with playing the Jets. So.
J-Roth, Bill Belichick.
Yeah, I miss J-Roth.
He's not here this season, but shout out to J-Roth.
Shout out to J-Roth. He got second place last year, and he had a baby, and
Baby arrived
yeah,
already?
they're having one soon. I know him and Light are, so congratulations to them. Let's go on to the next target here.
We got San Francisco at Philadelphia. What did you think about Philadelphia's first week performance with Jalen Hurts?
I thought they looked pretty good. But, I mean, they were playing Atlanta, so I'm not going to jump on any bandwagon on that yet. Like, I'm not jumping on any Philadelphia train for sure. Like, but I think that
exceeded my expectations. I'll be honest.
Yeah, they did. I mean, yeah, I feel like Jalen played really well. There was a crazy stat line that said Jalen Hurts has now had 2 games. Oh, I'm not a bandwagoner at all, gamer. Not one bit. I think Jalen Hurts. There's a stat line that said Jalen Hurts has had 2 games of 300 yards. I think they're back to back from last season to this season. And Lamar Jackson's had 1 game over 300 yards in 38 games in the NFL. That's kind of crazy when you think about it.
Pretty wild.
So yeah, I'm gonna say for this week's matchup, it's the Eagles versus who?
San Francisco coming.
Oh my God, San Francisco's gonna derail that. San Francisco's gonna come and win. Like they're going to.
I feel like San Francisco goes in and shows the people what Philly really is.
Yeah. Yep, they're gonna expose that team a little bit. Be like, hey, calm down. That was not a very good team.
All right, here's a good one. Las Vegas Raiders at the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, why don't you go first in this one?
I'm taking Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Taking Pittsburgh.
How come?
I love Pittsburgh's defense. They are very dynamic. I think they're a more solid squad on defense than the Las Vegas Raiders. I like Minka Fitzpatrick. I love the Watt brother, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
TJ Watt. Mm-hmm.
Got the Bosas and the Watts,
His contract was bonkers too. It was like 120 million. It was like $84 million guaranteed, $85 million guaranteed, something like that.
And I feel like the Raiders got lucky on Monday night. I feel like they still got some.
Yeah.
They still got some rust to shake off. I think Pittsburgh's a little more well-oiled machine. If I was a betting man, which I am, I'm putting my money on Pittsburgh.
I'm going Pittsburgh too. I don't think you're gonna hit 19 targets on Darren Waller, which was the number of targets Darren Waller had that game. He didn't catch all of them, which would have been insane fantasy-wise if he would have caught all of his targets. Yeah, that would have been like a 50-point game for Darren Waller, if he would have caught all of them. But my God, like 19 targets, like to the point where, it was 2 of my friends in another league were playing each other. We were watching that game. I watched my score deplete and lose. And then Stetson actually watched his team go on to beat his brother, who he never really beats but always has close matches with, because of that Darren Waller touchdown. So it was pretty. You're not. I don't think you're gonna get the same output like that from Darren Waller every week, but you're gonna get a lot of weeks where Darren Waller is getting some looks. So, and Brian Edwards, they now know that Brian Edwards is kind of a weapon. So I mean, I'm gonna say the I'm gonna say this: the Raiders will win.
Ooh, Raiders get the 2-0.
Raiders will go 2-0, and it's because of Brian Edwards and also Chase Claypool. No, sorry. Chase Claypool's a Steeler. Brian Edwards and Henry Ruggs.
Man, not a lot of love for Henry Ruggs in the first night. You know,
Yeah, he actually got the Raiders turned in game footage to seek punishment for the Ravens for headhunting on Henry Ruggs. So that's being looked at right now. Yep.
Wow, that's wow, Callisto. I gotta say, wow, that's different.
Yeah.
So you got the Raiders. I'm picking Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Okay, that's on record. New Orleans at the Carolina Panthers.
New Orleans does it again. New Orleans does it again.
I think so too.
I'm gonna crush him.
Stopping Jameis right now. He's balling.
Dude, he got that LASIK, so now he's got like laser vision or something in those eyes.
Giving respect. He's like, hey, that's what they needed. That's crazy. I like New Orleans. They're vibing. They're healthy. They're having a good time out there. You clearly see it. Everyone underestimated them. I don't think Carolina is gonna humble them. I don't think Sam Darnold. I love Christian McCaffrey, but I don't think they have what it takes to humble the New Orleans.
It'll be a good game, but New Orleans is gonna win that one.
Okay, both unanimous. Denver at Jacksonville Jaguars.
Denver, man. I think that the Jaguars are not ready yet. I think that Trevor Lawrence isn't. Excuse me. I don't think he's a bad quarterback per se. Like Barrett was saying, you know, Urban Meyer, he's adjusting to coaching in the NFL. But I mean, it was 3 interceptions he threw. That's Trevor Lawrence's first home loss ever. It's his first
loss since high school.
First loss since high school. I mean, since he went into college, I would. You know what? I'll change my stance on this a little bit, just because I'm feeling risky on it. I'm gonna say the Jaguars find a way to win, but it's not pretty. It's gonna be a field goal.
Oof.
That's where I'm at with it.
Josh Lambo wins the game, as he's saying, ladies and gents.
Yep.
I have a hot take. You know, not a hot take.
Give it to me.
Just insight, if you will. Do you think that because Trevor Lawrence is under Coach Urban Meyer, it's going to hinder his performance in the NFL because he doesn't have an NFL coach?
That's a good question. Yeah, actually.
I think it does. I think that if this doesn't work out, we may not see Trevor Lawrence blossom.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, I didn't think about. That's a great question, John. I really like that question.
I'm here all season, ladies and gents. I'm here all season.
That's a great question.
Because you have a rookie quarterback coming into a rookie head coach in the NFL.
So what does that mean for Travis Etienne when he comes back?
I don't think it affects him because he has to sit out this whole season. Urban Meyer has this season to get it right.
All the rumors have been debunked already, too, so we don't even need to talk about it. That there was a USC job opening for a head coach, and Urban Meyer was asked about it, and he said he has no interest in going back to college. So I think Urban Meyer is a really good coach. I think that he'll maybe make it in the NFL, maybe not. We'll see what happens. But, yeah, that's a really good question, John. I think that it definitely could affect Trevor Lawrence's ability to blossom in the NFL if he
I think that
if they don't get
my mind. That's why I had to ask.
If they don't get this turnaround, yes.
I think it hinders his development.
Yep, I agree. Because he doesn't have Urban Meyer doesn't have the experience level that a lot of NFL coaches have.
If you went to not so much with Robert Saleh, But you throw him in a Kyle Shanahan, perhaps,
What
you know.
you know what a good example is? Is I just watched a really great documentary on HBO, and it was called The Art of Coaching, and it's about Bill Belichick and Nick Saban and how they're like best friends outside
Love it.
of, and they both peaked at the same times in their
Yo,
careers. Yeah, HBO. It's
I have
really
to watch
it's an
that.
it's an hour and a half, and these guys just talk about coaching and like why they do certain things, like, and they're such good friends. But like they were on the Browns together, and then Nick Saban came in and he coached the NFL. He coached the Dolphins for a little while, and then he didn't do very well, so he went back to college.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not illegitimate to say that maybe Urban Meyer has the same effect. Maybe he comes into the NFL for a year or two and says this isn't for me, and he goes back to a college.
I wish Bear was here I want his opinion on that. We'll ask him next week.
We'll ask him next week.
Yeah. Great question. Thank you.
So, what's our next one?
So I think we're both unanimous. We're taking Denver on that one.
I said Jacksonville by a field goal.
I'll take Denver. Barrett will take Denver.
Yeah.
Minnesota, that's your boys, at the Arizona Cardinals. Oh gosh.
Well,
I'm with you. I'm with you. I hope your boys do it, man.
with our defense in the state that it's in, it's gonna be really hard to win. We did only lose to Cincinnati by 3, so I mean, there's that argument.
Overtime. There you
Overtime. So we didn't. Kirk was pretty clutch when they needed to get third downs and get to the goal, get to the line for a field goal.
Yep.
He ran the clock really well, I thought. So I mean, I don't think the Vikings are terrible on offense. I think it's going to be a lot of the defense showing up and not showing out. You know, they really got to get things figured out. Rashad Breeland needs to like not cause a bunch of penalties. I hope they've had a good week of practice to getting more strict on him about doing better and having better habits at his position. So, Anthony Barr, just get on the bus and go somewhere else. Like, go, please leave. Like, I don't.
Done?
I
Are
don't.
you done with Anthony Barr?
Yeah, totally done. There's no reason for us to pay you this amount of money and then for you to be like, oh yeah, I want to be in Minnesota. This is where I want to be. And then all of a sudden week 1 rolls around. You've had a healthy offseason. You've had a healthy preseason. You've had good practices, and then right before week 1, you're injured and can't play. We paid you a bunch of money. Go to the Jets like you were planning on in the first place, because I don't want you here.
Anthony Barr, hit the plane, man. You're out of here.
Yep, hit the
Go
bus,
get
hit the plane.
Get your draft picks.
Nick Vital's gonna take your place. We don't need you here anymore. Thank you for what you did when you decided that you want to play football, but the past 2 years you haven't hardly played. So,
Take a hike.
Minnesota, I think, is gonna struggle this game defensively, potentially, and if the right guys step up like they did in the third, fourth quarter last week, then maybe we have a great game. It's going to be really depending on how the defense shows up. I'm saying if Minnesota does win, it's going to be a field goal, 6 points maybe. If Minnesota loses, we're going to lose bad. We're going to lose by 2 touchdowns to Kyler Murray and D-Hop.
I gotta give my love to Arizona.
Yeah.
You know, you're rolling with momentum. It's nothing against your squad. It's just Arizona's hot.
Nope, I feel it.
Kyler Murray, statistically has surpassed Patrick Mahomes.
Repeat that.
Kyler Murray statistically has surpassed Patrick Mahomes in Week 1.
Oh wow.
He's leading the QB rankings.
Crazy.
Smart production. There it is.
That's nuts.
So I gotta go with Arizona on this one, and I'm confident in that one.
I like it. Where are you at? What's the next one?
Atlanta at Tampa. Atlanta at Tampa.
Tampa Bay is going to kick the shit out of them. It's going to be ugly.
Oh, God, Kyle Pitts, just give me something, please.
Gronk is going to get
2 tutties?
2 tutties.
Two tutty. I see it. I see two.
Lots of
tutties.
yards, 2 tutties.
I think the defense in Atlanta is it's gonna be a blowout. It's sad to say, but I don't think Atlanta puts up past 20
No.
points.
No.
Tom Brady's about to have a field day.
It's time for Matt Ryan to go bye-bye.
Matt Ryan, Boston College. What happened?
What's the next one?
We got the Dallas Cowgirls, the Cowboys.
Sorry, you read that wrong?
I read that wrong. I do apologize. The Los
Dallas
Angeles
Cow
Chargers-
Turds. Oh,
at the LA Chargers versus my boys. Yeah, I gotta
Nope.
go with my boys on this one. I like where we're
Chargers,
headed.
baby.
You lose DeMarcus Lawrence. Let's be honest. You lose DeMarcus Lawrence. That's pass pressure that gives Justin Herbert some time to air out the football.
Right.
I just think the Chargers get the job done. That's a huge loss, and you've seen what happens when Dallas starts to lose pieces of the defense.
Yeah.
Struggle.
I think
Struggle
I
bad.
think it's gonna be a fun game to watch.
Yes.
For me, I think it is gonna be a really good game. But that being said, I think Zeke's gonna have a lot better game than Week 1, as we said. I think that the Chargers give him a little more running room, and I think they're not gonna have Dak throw 58 times again. Like, they now know that they're gonna be able to do a lot of things that are special with the passing game with CD Lamb and Amari Cooper, and the receiving core they have. And I think they had a receiver go down too, so I think the output at passing, Michael Gallup. Yep. So I think the passing rate is going to kind of dwindle down a little bit for Cowboy fantasy owners. But I do think if you have Zeke, this is a good week for him to bounce back. I'm going to say the Chargers win this game. The Dallas Cowboys go 0-2.
Cowboys going 0-2.
And I'm just gonna say it. I feel like it's really sad that we can somehow get an HBO Hard Knocks series on a team that went 0-4 in the preseason and struggled.
That was trash, man. That was the worst season of Hard Knocks. Can we stop with the Cowboys already?
I mean, I enjoyed it, but there's a big announcement this Thursday coming out saying that there's a big announcement. I think it's going to be that the Hard Knocks series is going to be on the Washington football team with the name change coming and the culture change and bringing in, Taylor Heineke coming up here. So I think that it's going to be the next Hard Knocks series is going to be on either the Giants or the Washington football team, and I think we're going to get a name reveal in the Hard Knocks series. So that's what I think is going to happen. Washington football team is going to be the next Hard Knocks.
Announce their official name. Okay.
Washington Red Wolves. Ow!
It can happen. It can happen.
If they go with Red Hogs over Red Wolves, I'm just going to walk away.
We're gonna let that team. We'll consult Robbie. We'll talk to Robbie, see how he's doing.
We'll get Robbie on here. He wants to come back, so we got to get Robbie on here.
Sounds good. I like that. Remember Robbie from last season, folks?
We're bringing him back. Run Boys Fantasy Network.
Run Boys.
Let's go.
Next team up, we got Tennessee at Seattle. At Seattle.
Seattle, man. Seattle looked good last week. Russ was making plays all night down the field against the Colts secondary, and I don't think the Titans defense is super great. So I think that, I think I'm going Seattle.
I like Seattle too, man.
It's actually why I'm flexing in Gerald Everett I
liked him. I liked him on the Seahawks. He looked good. He looked healthy, and Russell Wilson is looking for him. So I like that. I like that play. Next up, we got Kansas City at the Baltimore Ravens. For prime time Sunday Night Football.
Kansas City is going to win this game by 24 points.
It's going to obliterate them.
24-point spread. It's going to be very similar to last year's Week 1 game. It's going to be nasty. I think that the Chiefs show out. They got Tyrann Mathieu back. It's going to be rough.
Yeesh.
So prepare, Ravens fans. Prepare.
You know what? I like the Kansas City. If I'm a betting man, Kansas City's gonna win it.
Yep.
As an AFC West fan, I'm Baltimore. Shut them down.
Later.
Shut them down.
Yeah.
Oh God! And then I just looked at the next game. I just got disgusted real quick. We got Detroit at Green Bay. It's a prime time Monday Night Football divisional rival.
This is a good game to end on. I'm gonna say the Green Bay Packers bounce back. I think Aaron Rodgers has said that they're gonna calm down. I think that it's a good game for them.
I think you have to. I think you're right, absolutely right, that Aaron Rodgers does bounce back. He's not gonna get embarrassed 2 weeks in a row, and he's not gonna lose to a divisional rival such as the Lions. You're not gonna lose to a rookie head coach and a young Jared Goff in an offense he doesn't know what's going down in. So
No, Aaron Rodgers is going to come back big in this game. I think his record, I was looking at it before this when I was talking to a friend of who I should start between Matthew Stafford and Aaron Rodgers. And I'm solely starting Aaron Rodgers off the fact that he is 17-5 against the Lions. And he averages about 240 yards, 2 tutties, no picks. It's a pretty standard performance against the Lions. And the Lions just lost a starting cornerback, so you know he's going to go in that direction with the ball.
Jeff
So,
Okuda.
yep. So whoever comes into that starting corner spot this week is going to struggle against whoever they line up against him. Like, it's going to be violent.
I think Jeff Okuda is one of their best defenders, and if you got Devontae Adams out there on your second best defender,
Yep.
that's a nightmare. That's a nightmare.
Yeah, that's going to be tough to handle for a new guy. So with that being said, that is our week 2 previews. And we've talked about roster moves. So exciting first week of football. We got great games. And now we're moving into the second week. Obviously we had some slumps and coming back from week 1 in fantasy. But, you guys, if you're in the same boat, don't panic. You'll be okay. It'll be all right. I'm telling you, stick with your teams. Make some moves, make some roster changes if you got it. If you got injuries, don't panic. You'll get through it. With that being said, John, where can you be found and what are you doing?
You guys can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv, the X Sauce. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter. I'm all there. You can catch me here weekly with my boy Mike, the Avenged Nerd, the legend. You can catch me here with him anytime he's talking sports.
All right, guys, you can catch me at NerdAvenge at Twitter, twitchtv.com/The Avenged Nerd. We play lots of different games. I haven't been streaming for the past month for some personal reasons. Been too busy too, so I'll leave it at that. And then thanks for the support. If you guys like the show, follow it on Spotify, share it with your friends. If you felt like it was good information, I just want to say thank you for listening and hanging out, and we'll see you guys next week. I love you, Maggie. Goodbye.